can an independent filmmaker expect the casting process to take?
It depends if you have the money or not.
Good point.
If the project is financed and you have a start date, then great. I mean, things happen when there's a deadline.
Right.
When there's no deadline and if there's no financing, it could take years.
Wow.
We kind of take the lead from the producers of what their time frame is. You know, again, I've worked on things where it takes years to get the financing and get the cast attached, and I've worked on things where the money's there and we have a start date in like a month and you have a month to do it, which, you know, as the casting director, that's way better.
Right.
Because
you have a hard deadline and you know you're not going to be working on something for the rest of your life.
you have a hard deadline, and it also brings up the biggest thing that's going to make an agent take an independent film seriously is that it's real. You know, working independent filming, attaching actors and getting actors cast, it's really in the eyes of the agent if it's a real movie and if it's not a real movie.
Let's talk about money in escrow and pay or play offers, because I'm really happy you brought that up about having money in escrow, because I think, you know, people that haven't made a film before, there's that really positive optimism of this is the best script I've ever had, or this is the best thing I've ever written, and I'm going to call CAA and they're just going to give me Meryl Streep because this is amazing. And I think that a lot of filmmakers don't understand that even if you are doing a low-budget film, to make an offer, you do have to have money in escrow, just as if you were buying a house, proof of funds, and you have to be able to show that, you know, sometimes you have to be able to transfer that money to lock a talent into your project, because you have to be able to say that, yes, the money is here, yes, we're going to give it to you, and here's the start date, and I need the actor to show up. So for them to commit to showing up, you have to commit the money. How does that work?
I mean, you kind of just said it all. You know, usually if you're doing that, you're pretty far down the line in most cases. But pay or play is really basically just saying we're going to pay the actor regardless if the movie's made.
But a producer has to empower you to make that offer.
Well, yeah.
Right? So, like, you can't just say that on your own. Like, a producer has to say, okay, we want this person, this is our first choice. And I think some famous movies in history have had some awesome buyout stories for pay or play deals. And then with that process of, you know, getting an actor on board, and then you're making an offer. And so, you know, you have your list, right? So when a producer comes to you and actually hires you, is the first process that you make a list, or do you already have that before they hire you?
You know, when we're approached about a project and we have to meet on it, I mean, most of the independent films I've done were through friends of mine. So I was lucky where I didn't have to like interview. But when we interview for projects, they're going to send us the script, and then we'll probably go to the meeting with, because when you meet, you're not only trying to figure out the hang factor, which I said, whether or not you get along, but they want to gauge your taste and
if you're on the same page, basically.
Exactly. So I'll read the script and bring in maybe like 10 to 20 ideas for all the lead roles.
Wow.
Whether it be actors who, you know, I think are prototypes for the role, whether or not they're realistic or not, whether they're, you know, if they'll do it. But we do that, and then once we're hired, it depends what route the producer wants to go, and it's usually, you know, making offers to actors who won't audition. So in that case, that's when we make lists of ideas, and we check on these actors whether or not they're available and if it's realistic. Those are the two big questions when you're making these lists, especially, I mean, it's for TV too, but for independent features, you know, hopefully you'll have a covering agent.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's a lot more work where it's like, you know, you're checking with individual point agents, or I personally like to go to managers, because managers have more of a personal hands-on relationship with the actors, and the manager is going to really give you an honest answer whether or not it's something they would do. Agents, for the most part, are just going to, you know, say if they're available or not.
Got it.
Whereas if I go to a manager, they're going to be like, oh, you know, they are not really looking to do something like this next, or they're going on vacation, or you're going to get a better answer from a manager usually. But you'll check on all those people on the list and on your list, and once you gather those, and also you may be incorporating pitches from agents, hopefully they will read the script, and then they'll give you ideas of their own, and yeah, and then you send that to the producers and kind of go from there and narrow it down to offers you want to make, and yeah.
Very cool. Gosh, that's really great advice. When you actually get down to those like top 3 offers, right? So you have it's like a Christmas wish list. You have like a 1, 2, 3 for each role. So when you make an offer or a producer says, okay, I love the first option on your list,
Yeah.
Eric, do whatever you have to do, get me that actor.
Yeah.
So you call the agency, you make the offer. How long does a producer have to wait to get that yes or no? Is it indefinite?
No. Well, also, it depends. I mean, it depends how much time you have. And like I said, if there's a deadline, if your project is contingent on the cast and you're kind of just like hanging out to see who you get and you don't really have a start date, then it's really up to the producer to let us know what clock to put on it.
Got it.
So I've worked on projects that don't have a start date, that are indefinite, where I've waited like over a month for someone to say yes or no.
Okay.
Because, it's showing that you really want that person and you're going to wait. And if you have a good casting director, they're going to stay on top of it and not just let it die away or disappear.
Yeah.
I mean, most agents are going to be respectful and
Okay.
get you an answer, whether it's a quick no or, which is, very appreciated always.
Yeah. Quick no is the next best thing after a fast yes.
Yes, a quick yes would be amazing. I worked on an independent film once where we made like a pie in the sky offer to an actor, to a bigger name actor, not really expecting him to say yes, but, when you really want someone, why not try? And I made the offer at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I made the offer to the manager because agents, it would have taken forever. And the agents always copied because they have to be. But I made the offer to the manager because I know he'd already read the script for another client. And by 4 o'clock that afternoon, the actor said yes. Because
he had read the script, so he trusted the manager.
the manager had read the script, and it turns out the film was, it was modified low budget, but it was a dark science fiction comedy, which,
Cool.
surprise, who knew this actor had said he wanted to do something like that. And so within the same day, the actor said yes, and that was rare and amazing.
Can you tell us what project, or is it still in the works?
No, it's already done. It was called Space Station 76, and I did that a few years ago, and it premiered at South by Southwest, and it closed Outfest here, and
Wow.
we got a great little cast. But I could go on and on about that movie, but that movie kind of came together. Like we made so many offers to people who had passed, and once we got one person to say yes, everyone else fell into place within like a week.
Wow. It's like dominoes. You just get that one.
You just need that one person. Every independent film I've worked on, that's how it works. Once you get one person, it just all kind of falls into place. But that one was because the first actor we attached was Patrick Wilson, because
Wow.
he had a personal relationship with the director. They knew each other from school. So once he came on board, he had the same manager as Matt Bomer, and Matt Bomer's the one who said yes the same day.
Wow.
Because the manager had read it, knew it's something Matt wanted to do,
Right.
and said yes, and then everything else fell into place. But
So cool.
yeah, unless you're lucky to get a quick yes, a quick no is the next best thing, because you're not wasting your time.
Yeah.
And you can move on to the next person.
That's great.